Hello everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Naruto discussion. But this time I'm joined by NaruSaku Fan in Kentucky, the first time ever on one of my streams.
Sup, guys?
Let's see, you might know him from his own channel where he does a few Naruto, Kingdom Hearts, One Piece related discussions, or sometimes Unlucky Cheese Naruto Anniversary podcasts. But he is here to discuss NaruSaku in order to celebrate NaruSaku Day, which was here on 3rd of April. And the title of this discussion is Why Ship NaruSaku?
That's right.
It's been nearly over 10 years since the Naruto manga ended, and unfortunately for us, NaruSaku did not end up happening in canon. But nevertheless, we're here to discuss all the reasons why we ship the relationship. And we've got Fad Khan Spidey, who hello. Just want to double check. You still wish to join the stream, right? Because as the stream just started, yes. Did you say you wanted to join or not, if I recall? Because I can link the city, because I can probably give you a link to join if you wish. All right?
Yeah, it's never too late to join.
Let's see if this, here's the link here. Once you have joined, we will, I will delete that link and then we can get going. Is the link working?
While we wait for him, can I say why I ship NaruSaku yet?
Okay, fair enough. I might as well go ahead, NaruSaku Fan.
Okay, here's one reason why I ship NaruSaku. One, I believe they're dynamic. I believe that when I saw them act together, I don't see them as siblings as Naruhina Fans.
We'll get to that sort of criticism later. Flaming Lakan, are you Farid Khan? Hello?
Hey, Flaming. Anyway, I'll say why
private chat. Okay, yes, just joined. Okay, he has just joined. At the moment, it is him. All right, so as that's the case, I will just, with this chaotic. And then we have also got Space joining, let's see, someone who is a regular, let's see, watcher of my channel. But yes, hello. But anyway, continue now, Sakura Fan in Kentucky.
Well, anyway, I also believe that they're dynamic. I believe in the connection they always have together. I also believe that they were meant to meet, and it's not just because they're hero ex heroine, although that's part of it. But it's their chemistry.
Slow down a bit so I can let's see. It feels like you're trying to rush it a little bit and you're losing a few words. But Space is saying I'm here and this is the bit I've been waiting for. Yes, you've been hearing to see what I've been saying about NaruSaku. So yeah. Anyway, go on, NaruSaku Fan.
Like I said, I believe Naruto and Sakura had chemistry. My favorite moment was one of my favorite moments was when she raised her hand in the
tuning exams. All right,
because she wanted him to chase his dream. And the best part is she didn't do it for Sasuke. She didn't do it for herself. She did it for him.
Okay, so
and I always thought Naruto. And I always loved Naruto's reason for why he loves Sakura. When he was in disguise of Sasuke, he said he wanted to be. She said she wanted to be accepted, just like him.
Okay. Let's see. We'll get into some of that as well. Flaming Lakan, are you able to speak? Flaming Lakan. Okay, it looks like let's see, it's just more like he's just going to be in the background for the time being, but yes. I suppose I should get into why I ship NaruSaku. To be honest, oops, I've got a private chat. Let's see, hold on. Unfortunately, no. Okay, so he's just here in the background. So fair enough. Let's see. If you wish, you can let's see, post some comments in the regular chat. So where you can see, I can read them out in case you want to say anything. But for now, I will continue to with like this debate, if you will. So yeah. Arguably, I did not necessarily ship NaruSaku before. To probably some people's surprise, I actually shipped the rival ships first, partly because of, well, I ended up watching them via the anime, and also when I first got on live Naruto content, you got basically a lot of the Naruto fan works being mostly, you know, of NaruSaku and Naruhina. But as I started private chat, let's see. I muted myself so I won't interrupt him. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, but well, I was like, oh yeah. Of course, when I got more interactive with the online fandom, I started seeing how arguably they were treating certain characters, particularly how they were treating Sakura. And so I started interacting with the NaruSaku fandom. I became more pro NaruSaku as time went on before I absolutely end up full on shipping it. But of course, there are like let's see, slowly starting to despise the other ships that would have happened. That eventually, it's unfortunately became canon. So basically, yeah, that was basically my journey, and I've been shipping it ever since, and not liking how let's see the two canon are portrayed. But yes, but basically, from what I can, let's see, I'm gonna hold on, just share. Let's see, oh yeah. Let's see, Naruto. Here we go. As from like these tweets from let's see, with images from chat. Let's see, Naruto has basically been had a crush on Sakura since day one. Since we're introducing her as a very cute girl that I like a lot. So basically, this is the girl he liked before, but unfortunately for Naruto, she ended up having a crush on Sasuke, which normally for a shonen main character, usually the heroine either dislikes, usually likes or dislikes, but comes around straight away. But for Naruto, he ended up having, well, unfortunately, his love interest, would be the rival character, which Farid Khan says the most natural pairing. Fair enough. I can't really say I disagree. So basically, that has been basically the dynamic of the series. Naruto likes Sakura, but Sakura likes Sasuke, and Sasuke isn't really interested. He's basically here for revenge. So that's basically what's going down. But as Naruto, explores, we end up seeing Naruto starts sort of seemingly winning her over as and still seeming to remain feelings as we see at the second half of this part 2 image here. But so we see that, but and it looks like, let's see, particularly in the first half of part 2, Sakura starting to when but Sakura starting to show affections for Naruto, if you will. This is often, commented on by characters such as new members of Team 7, Yamato and Sai. So we had a few quite interesting comments, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. But as time went on, by the time the Kage-sama met Sasuke, of course, started going a much more deeper and darker into his debates. Sakura trying to help Naruto, and seemingly confesses her feelings, but he seems to not believe her. And as a result, she goes to try and kill Sasuke, but that fails. And then there's a bit of the absence until like the final battle of the war between like the 3 members of Team 7. You got Minato arriving, asking if Sakura is Naruto's girlfriend, which Naruto seems to imply that is. But in the end, after a few moments between Naruto and Sakura. Unfortunately, they didn't happen, and then they became canon. But yeah, which is unfortunate, but that's where we are now. But anyway, one of the things. Sorry, NaruSaku Fan, you have something to say?
No, not really. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, I was just a bit disappointed. Let's see. Space Girls Like Opinion. People who viewed Sakura and Naruto as siblings relationship instead of romantic. That is going to be. Let's see if I'd says being back in a minute. That is going to be one of the criticisms that we're going to address with NaruSaku in a bit later. But I want to first explore. Let's see the reason. Let's see why some of the reasons you can ship NaruSaku. Basically, since the first chapter, we are. Let's see. Basically, since the first chapter, we know that Naruto's like Sakura. Heck, we even get the reason, which, as we see from this panel here, Sakura desires to be acknowledged. Granted, yes, via Sasuke, but Naruto, who himself is a character that strives to be acknowledged, finds this part of Sakura to be endearing. Even says this here. Yes, this is Sasuke, but as we know, Naruto disguised himself as Sakura. I mean, as Sasuke to try and get a bit closer to Sasuke. You can argue about the problem, some of the immaturity things that Naruto did with this, but nevertheless, this panel gives us an idea that Naruto has his reasons for liking Sakura. So yeah. Sakura, of course, does not, reciprocate these feelings, partly because, well, at the moment she is like crushing on Sasuke, but once, of course, that Naruto, unfortunately, before he could do anything else happen, had to leave, because of one reason or another.
Food poisoning, I believe.
Yes, food poisoning. Sasuke ended up arriving, and Sakura, thinking Sasuke was still from before, ends up bad-mouthing Naruto, which gets Sasuke annoyed at Sakura, partly because, it was the unfortunate comment of, Sasuke being, Naruto's not being an orphan and all that stuff, which to Sasuke, it's like, don't diss orphans, which arguably justifiably calls her out for this, but this gets Sakura to, of course, changed opinion, so, arguably, there was potential for this pairing at the beginning, whether people wanted to see it or not. So, yeah. You have any comments, NaruSaku Fan?
Yeah, I always get iffy when Sakura gets too much hate for that comment. But let me tell you something. She was 12 years old. She was just a kid. She didn't know any better.
Yeah, arguably, it's not the smartest comment, though, to be fair, kids do sometimes say the word. It's not the brightest things, and arguably some adults as well, to be honest. But yeah. But it's clear from the first, after the end of the chapter, she's trying to be at least better. Granted, it's not necessary straight away. She still, of course, dislikes Naruto, but as we see, well, just to that, but arguably, yes, Sakura, just like Naruto, but arguably as time went on, it's like she started to warm up to him. And to address this comment here, saying, I honestly believe Kishimoto was planning Sakura to be endgame when he was working on part 1. What's your comments on this, NaruSaku Fan in Kentucky?
I happen to disagree with that comment because I believe that Kishi was, in my opinion, I believe Kishi was planning NaruSaku from when he first got it started. But then Studio Pierrot pressured him to make it Naruhina and Sasusaku canon because they bring the moolah. You get what I mean?
You're saying that you think the reason why they did Sasusaku possibly in the reason why they've had Sasusaku become canon is because they thought Naruhina and Sasusaku would make them more income because they were popular in the West. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Let's see. As for what Varad Khan is saying, what did I miss? Well, basically, let's see. Farad Khan is asking, what did I miss? Let's see. Basically, Space has just said, let's see, possibly talking about how NaruSaku was possibly planned while working on the beginning of part 1, but we're just sort of disagreeing with that. But arguably, there are some reasons why we believe so, partly because one of the reasons why I think arguably NaruSaku was, let's see, arguably planned is it seems that Kishimoto has taken inspiration, from what I can tell, from like Sakura, based on the fact that let's see, Kishimoto is like basing Sakura off of his own wife, if you will. So and comparing himself to like Naruto. So as we got a little bit here, and as we see from this little comment here from Oda from Kishimoto's wedding, he comments about how Sakura looks just like how Kishimoto's wife looks just a lot like Sakura, if you will. So arguably that's one plan there. Let's see. Another reason I would probably say is NaruSaku parallel. Let's see. Throughout the story, there are many NaruSaku parallels. So hold on, let me just let's see. As we let's see, throughout the story, I'm just going to find a certain image on Google. Let's see. No, not this one. Hold on. Let's see. Let me just. No, not this one here. Oh. Hold on. Let me just stop sharing screen there. What did I miss? I don't think NaruSaku was planned from the beginning. NaruSaku was. Space says, I feel one scene from part 1 that gives me vibes that NaruSaku wasn't planned in part 1 was the scene of Tsunade healing Sasuke and Sakura, hugging him while Naruto gives a smile. I'll get to that comment in a minute, but basically what I'm trying to compare is that one reason why I think, let's see, you find many NaruSaku fans at the very least. See, NaruSaku. Hold on. Oops, damn it. Let's see. Hold on. NaruSaku. I'll just use this quick. All right. Just looks like Flaming has just left. But nevertheless, present, share screen. Here we go. As we can see here, Naruto had like many sort of like parallels between like certain characters. Particularly the most famous one is Minato and Kushina, Jiraiya and Tsunade. Let's see, Obito and Rin. Let's see, arguably many ships like that. Let's see, you can argue have been, let's see, compared. So
Tsunade and Jiraiya?
Yeah, I said that. Let's see, and it goes like, is it because the whole Jiraiya loves Tsunade, Obito loves Rin? Those parallels, right? Yes, those are some of the parallels that I was talking about. Arguably throughout part 1 and part 2, we saw many sort of like generations of Team 7 matching with let's see, Naruto's and Sakura's, or Naruto and Sasuke's relationships. Basically, Obito's rivalry with Kakashi is similar. Heck, you can even say like Obito likes Rin, but Rin likes Kakashi, but Kakashi ain't interested. Let's see, Jiraiya likes Tsunade, but granted, Tsunade does not like Orochimaru, instead likes someone called Dan. Basically, those kind of like ships. And you even got like, let's see, Kushina and Minato and Kushina, partly because Kushina seems to have a very similar backstory of disliking Minato, but falling in love with him after getting a sort of certain compliment about her hair. With Third can Spidey0101 saying still here, having difficulties with connecting with the chat for both platforms. Fair enough. So basically, those are mostly like the sort of comparisons I have. I might even argue there's some like comparisons perhaps between Yakuto and Conan, and even let's see, Hashirama and his wife. But yeah, let's see. Space going like the issue with these parallels is aside from Minato and Kushina, the other crushes ended up with sad stories. But here's the thing. That is the point. That is the point. The point with those relationships is that they ended up failing because as we've seen throughout the part of the story, Naruto is supposed to succeed where the old generation fails. Let's see. Jiraiya never got Tsunade to recuperate his feelings. Well, technically, he did until like the end, which Tsunade seemed to be ready to recuperate those feelings as he was going off to fight pain, but he ended up dying before that could happen. Obito never got the chance to confess his feelings to Rin before he allegedly died, and then Rin ended up learning via Kakashi. But let's see. And when Obito was coming back to try and rescue Kushina and Kakashi, unfortunately, Kakashi accidentally killed her. So as a result, those two sort of like ships never happened. Naruto, we're supposed to see let's see from these parallels, is that he is at some point going to confess his feelings and arguably try and win back and have them recuperated in return, if you will. But the problem is, of course, that that never ended up happening because Kishimoto eventually went with Nahina and Sasusaku in the end, which is unfortunate for our ship. You got any comments you want to say on that, NaruSaku fan in Kentucky?
Not right now.
What's the point of even having you as a guest?
Okay, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Let me talk about the parallels, okay? I believe in the parallel of Kushina and when Kushina and Sakura about their parallels when Sakura was very insecure about her forehead and Naruto complimented her. In this guy's a Sasuke, granted, but still he complimented her. I thought when he did that, and when I read that when Minato complimented her hair, I thought that's a parallel to NaruSaku. It's good, and I thought, Kishi, you sly fox, you're gonna make this pairing canon. But then, unfortunately, we all know what happened. And I gotta say, a lot of Naruto fans compare Minato to Hinata. I don't see it. I don't see how those two share quite in common.
Okay. Let's see. Arguably, they tried to say it's because Hinata and Minato apparently seem to have calm or shy personalities. But from what I can tell of Minato, he is pretty much goofy. We've got Space says, I talked about this before, but it seems like Kushina was very unsure which ships he wanted to be in Endgame, and I don't believe the studio had anything to do it. All right, let's see. We're gonna have let's see. This is something that I meant to like let's see, not blame the anime studio for, because apparently one of the criticisms why one of the debates of why apparently the ship didn't happen is because Studio Periot intervened. Now let's see. Space here seems to think that the studio for what Kishimoto did, but I think it's safe to say that Studio Periot had a role in shaping how some fans viewed Sakura. If you wish to list some of the things that they have done. Kentucky. You surely know some of the things they've done.
Yeah, I'll give one example, okay? There's this one, I remember this one clip of was Naruto in the Chunin exams having a tough time, and Sakura was mocking him, but I later found out that wasn't in the manga at all. It was, so SP just added that to make Sakura a little bit unlikable. And it's been so long since I've seen it, I forgot what else.
Ah, for the love of. Anyway, let's see. We saw that Bleach, the original author, can have a different endgame ship than what the anime studio wanted. Well, yes, but it should be noted that the Bleach staff was very different from the Naruto staff from Studio Period. And we've got space. I mean, Farid Khan says, I don't think the studio was entirely free from blame. Problem is, they didn't have a good amount of influence in the popularity of the story and Kishimoto's direction. Let's see. As for some of the criticisms, the main one is during, as we know from the first, chapter where Sakura appeared, at the end, she is promising to be nice to him, but in the anime, one of the things that they added towards the end of that is that they had this whole scene where Sakura seemingly doesn't really want to try and be nice. She's just trying to it's like she really doesn't want to do it. In many ways, making it look like it looks a bit more of like a shallow attempt to try and befriend him rather than actually genuine thing. Another one that you could see so many people notice is that in the manga, when Zabuza, was first encountering in Team 7, a shuriken ended up being, when the shurikens were being thrown at them, you had a panel of Sakura sort of helping Naruto by having her, helping him dodge it. So, but the anime either put that very minor in the background where you cannot actually really see if Sakura actually did that or not. And we've got a comment from Farid Khan saying, as far as the scene with Naruto smiling sadly when Sakura heals Sasuke, I feel like that's somewhat as a setup for NaruSaku because it was meant to represent Naruto's emotional maturity, which he was lost in. We'll get into that. Let's see. And going the last, almost everyone, including Naruto, agrees that Naruto and Sakura scenes suck. Yes, we'll get to that. We'll get to that scene.
I've never seen the movie, but I have seen retrospect Greg's review of it, and it's a lot to take.
But basically, with the whole other moments with Studio Period that I think have damaged Sakura is arguably with the filler scenes where they make Sakura punch Naruto a lot more than she actually does. Now, granted, Sakura does hit Naruto, usually for something stupid or perverted. The only time when I'd say she didn't was when he ended up accidentally kissing Sasuke, but that's more because she wanted to be Sasuke's first kiss. But outside of that, she ended up rarely doing it, though she would if he ended up doing something really stupid or perverted, if you will. But the anime, of course, over-exaggerated that with a lot of their filler. The only thing I can say in the anime that the only positive thing I can recall that the anime did with Sakura is instead of during the Ten Tails doing the whole Ten Tails killing on the Allied forces, they had a pull up a earth wall to protect herself rather than Kakashi helping her. But other than that, there's not really much there's really not much other positive things except for that one filler I can recall from Amazon where they give this very good explanation of why Naruto likes Sakura, especially seeing her smile and all that stuff when dealing, I believe, with those Amazon chicks, if you recall that filler.
Yeah, I skipped filler.
Okay, Space Goes I guess one of my issues with NaruSaku is that you have Naruto not move on with his crush while Sakura and Hinata do move on with the ship if the ship did happen. It just seems off to me and I don't know why. We'll address that in a second. That scene was entirely wrong because it made both of them look rather vile. I think he's referring to the last, but there's one critique comment I want to just talk about how, I feel that one scene from part 1 that gives me vibes that NaruSaku wasn't planned in part 1 with the scene of Tsunade healing Sakura, hugging him while Naruto gives that smile. To address this, you want to address the scene, NaruSaku Fan in Kentucky?
Yes, I always look back to that scene, and he wasn't smiling. He wasn't accepting that it happened. He was jealous of that scene, in my opinion. He was. That smile was not. I'm happy for you, Sakura. He said that smile felt fake, and he was jealous of that hug, and he wished that was him. Sakura was hugging. That's how I view it.
Okay, I'm going to try and give a bigger explanation. From what I can tell, let's see. Well, yes, in some ways I can see him being jealous of that scene, but I think the biggest for okay, he sees that they're having a moment. He doesn't really want to intervene. He's not happy about what's going on, but he's not going to cause a scene. He's going to just let it play out. And then, of course, afterwards, you, of course, get the promise of a lifetime. Let's see, when Sakura does that request, he understands how she's feeling right now, but whatever his own feelings aside, she's putting hers before his. So he's going to try, if he thinks this will make her happy, he will do it. And you do sort of get this sort of scene later, we'd see during the scene where Sakura, I think, seems to sort of realize that Naruto does really actually understand her when comparing to what happened earlier. So, yeah, let's see. Hold on, we've got a few more comments here. Let's see, let's say this scene is entirely. Whoops, that's the wrong one here. I think NaruSaku would have been actually better if Sakura did move on. Reasons. Let's see, character development. We'll get to that bit here. With a space going like counter argument, doesn't what Tsunade say about Naruto in the scene disproves the idea of Naruto being jealous? So that's let's see. I believe she's referring to how Naruto seemingly a bit more mature about this, Kentucky.
Yeah, that's how I view it. He handled it better than a lot of guys would have.
Yeah, basically, I think let's see. So what you're basically saying is, let's see, Naruto is not exactly happy about the situation, but he's being mature, not causing a scene about it.
Yes.
Let's see. Vad Khan says it wasn't just jealousy; it was more of a melancholic feeling, that thinking that he can never be that for her. Let's see. And he goes like, fair point, Space. That's pretty much what she meant. But yes, so basically, that is one of the arguments for let's see, with the whole scene, which many people try to claim NaruSaku ended that day, but of course, like I said, let's see what I think Space goes with Shibunen's a different story, as we saw from first chapter back in part 2. Sakura clearly still had feelings for Sakura the moment we let's see, keep moving. Sakura still had Naruto still had feelings for Sakura in the beginning of part 2, and that clearly had not changed. So, yeah, you might have Naruto looking on in part 1. Let's see, part 1 is Sasuke, but it's still clear that he still likes Sakura at the beginning of part 2 with that scene. And then, of course, Sai even ends up asking about Naruto's feelings at some point, as we got that flashback with Sai and Naruto in the Kage Summit arc. He just does not at the moment feel like he can confess his feelings because he does not feel like he is got himself worthy as a result, due to the fact that he has still failed to keep his promise and bringing Sasuke back at the very least. So we have that one bit of scene there, but one aspect I would wrong new comments going let's see, going something I was wondering though, if NaruSaku was always meant to be endgame, when was the point of Hinata having a crush on Naruto? As for, let's see, do you want to answer this one, Kentucky?
Yeah, I think the point was it was. I think the point is it was going to be a small innocent crush like most children have when they were young, but as they grew, they sometimes they realized it is not meant to be, and I feel that, and still feel that way about Hinata and her crush towards Naruto.
Okay, I'm gonna see. Fair enough. Basically, I think the reason why Hinata, I think, was given a message in the private chat. Let's see. Okay, I see. You wanted to ask if you did do your top five couples yet. I think you kind of missed the chance to do that, Kentucky. But I'll find a chance for you to say, let's see, something like that. Let's see down the line. But at the moment, I'll just continue the discussion.
Okay, you go ahead.
But yeah, let's see. Fadcon goes like rival character. They needed someone that way. Liking Sasuke is pretty much the same thing. Also, Hinata's original concept was her being a village girl that exists to make Sakura jealous. I'm not entirely sure if that is fully on. Let's see. That is entirely what it was, with space going like Fad. All right, that seems to be backfiring Kishimoto. Basically, I think he just needed some teammate. Needed to make some squad mates because he needed to do like the Rookie 9, and arguably to try and make the sort of Hyuga conflict a bit more interesting, having like one of the Hinata, the sort of underdog, if you will, to have a sort of like admiration for Naruto. But after like the whole Trinity exams, he just did not seem to have any idea what to do afterwards. But yeah, but arguably this could also be a bit of a backfire. But yeah. Now, another comment I wanted to address is here's the spaces. I guess one of my issues with NaruSaku is that you have Naruto not move on with this crush, while Sakura and Hinata do move on with this if this ship did happen, which seems to be off to me, which I don't know why. Now, basically, this is seemingly one issue about saying let's see that you do sometimes see fans do and all that stuff about let's see, Naruto's not allowed to move on. So what? Let's see, from his feelings and all that stuff. But the thing with with this sort of criticism I have here is, well, basically, okay, so Naruto's not allowed. Naruto's not allowed to move on. But this same argument can also be applied to like NaruSaku and Hina, where they get basically. The girls, they're not allowed to move on. In fact, you had that very disgusting comment, I think, either from Kishimoto or even Sakura saying in the last movie that girls sorry, go on.
That terrible comment. If Sakura moved on from Sasuke, then she would be a terrible woman. I was like, what the fuck?
Yes, basically, that is basically one of the comments that you had, which arguably is a very problematic comment, let's see, regardless if it's males and boys. Now, arguably, yes, one way or another, you've got, but let's see, with either NaruSaku or Naruhito and Sasusaku, let's see, one way or another, you would have, let's see, one group either not move on from their feelings and the others moving on. That's basically what would happen if for any of these ships to happen. But the whole thing with like the way I think with NaruSaku, it's more of like for Naruto's character, he never sort of gives up. Granted, he's not really going to force Sakura to like him. He rather have her naturally like her back, but it's not going to be like but he wants to like let's see, sort of get her to like him, basically. And see, not force, but just have like just recuperate the feelings. Now you could argue that's the same with, let's see, Naruhito and Sasusaku, but there's a lot of things I feel like that seems to force with like with Naruto and Sasuke's character just to get them into that sort of relationship, as you kind of point out a bit here with that, the last, almost everyone, including Naruhito, agrees that Naruto and Sakura scene sucks. This, arguably the scene with, like, which the last and the studio did, and, let's see, you could argue Kishimoto, the writers of that movie, or the studio, or the editors in Jump, whatever, who came up with that line about how Naruto only, pursued Sakura because of his rivalry with Sasuke, which is complete BS because that just made Naruto into like a sort of hypocrite, if you will, because he says that he hates people who lie to themselves, which then you've basically been lying the entire time of when you've like been trying to get, let's see, Sakura as your girlfriend, basically. Wouldn't you agree, Kentucky? Huh?
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, when I like I said, I've never seen, nor will I ever do. You couldn't even pay me to see that movie. But when I found out about that scene, I was like, "What? What? What?" I was like, "You? That's why it's not canon because Naruto basically lied to Sakura when he was calling her out on her. Why? I don't know who wrote that line, but you should be fired from writing from period.
From writing. Basically, I think as many NaruSaku fans view it as our one more day moment for Spider-Man. Let's see. Let's see.
I think the last version of Naruto is Spider-Man one more day, basically.
Okay. We've had from some comments here saying because most of the comments did backfire for the most part. Yep, indeed. Also, if a girl falls in love once, she can't move on. Fair enough. Is what Sakura believed in the last. To this day, that is the weirdest anime movie I've ever seen. Let's see. Space Girl's like, I guess there's only one issue I can see for NaruSaku is that Sasuke might end up with Karen, and to me, that ship is even more arguably gross than NaruSaku, but that's just me. Arguably, that is often a ship that is sort of, let's see, compared to like Sasuke and Karin, but frankly, I'm not necessarily the the Sasu Karin expert here, and unfortunately, let's say our friend Chat is unable to join, so I'll either have someone like that come in and explain it rather than me myself. But whether or not who Sasuke ends up with or doesn't end up with if NaruSaku happens is a more up for debate bit. But yeah, with like spacing, let's see.
Sorry.
Go on.
I just want to say, I don't think Sasuke should be ended up with anybody, period. I just think he's too unlikable to have someone to settle with.
Yeah. Basically, if you want to ask NaruSaku fans, when it comes to Sasuke Karin, you either have those that like it or those that hate it, or just those that just like dislike Sasuke in general. But as for Space's comment here, it says that the last scene is probably one of the most obvious examples of a retcon, and yes, it is very much clearly a retcon, as I believe let's see, as if those who remember at the beginning of this stream, let's see, hold on. Let's see. Whoops. I may have closed it down. Dang it. That'll come back to bite me. Oh, wait. No, I haven't closed it down. Let's see. Let me just present and share screen. Share screen. Oh, yeah. As we see from very much here, let's see. We actually got Naruto's reasons for liking Sakura explained here. All I want is for you to acknowledge me. So basically, Naruto's like Sakura due to a drive for acknowledgement since the very beginning. So it was never really the rivalry with Sasuke. Granted, yes, the rivalry has, in a sense, affected the ship because, well, let's see, Sakura's feelings for Sasuke was sort of the obstacle that Naruto and Sakura needed to, pass on. Let's see, we got another comment from Farad Khan says, this is why I think the arranged marriage plot for Nahino would work, showing falling off of a hypothetical part 3 after marriage and dealing with the aftermath of the war. But, nah, I'm not really a fan of that, to be honest. Farad Khan saying, Sasuke Karin is 50-50, but was better than SS. Yes, I agree with Kentucky. He needed to do a lot of soul searching before finally setting down. With Space saying, agreed, Sasuke should end up alone, but not because he's bad, but because Sasuke believing he doesn't deserve anyone until he finishes his path of atonement. Okay, let's see. There seems to be some sort of agreement with this bit here. But, yeah. So that is basically another comment. But another comment I would probably suggest that people try to address when it comes to the whole NaruSaku versus Sasuke versus Sasuke. Let's see, is the fact that is there an echo in your?
No, I just yawned.
Okay. Let's see. Anyway, let me see if that. Nope. Okay. Could you mute yourself for a second, Kentucky?
Sure.
All right. Let's see. All right. It's back to normal. I don't know. It seems to be something on the background on your end, but when people often try and say that, Nahina or NaruSaku have more dramatic moments, one thing I'd probably say in regards to that is the fact that personally, let's see, NaruSaku. One advantage I believe that NaruSaku has. Hold on, let me just find it. My share screen is being not the best today. Share screen. Let's see, is the fact that if you look at, you can unmute yourself, Kentucky. Is the fact that if you look here, Naruto and Sakura, out of these three ships, have arguably the most interactions. You can argue whether or not all the interactions are the most are all romantic or not, but nevertheless, let's see, Naruto, as you can see from this collage here, Naruto and Sakura have spent more time than either Saku or Nahina. In fact, Nahina, despite Hinata and Naruto being in the village for most of this part of the story, has even less than say Saku, if you will.
Yeah, I remember reading that. I said that's how many interactions they had in the manga. I mean, that's that. In my opinion, that just doesn't work because you need to have more than 35 pages together. That's just me. Because you need to develop relationships more. Because show, don't tell.
So basically, Nahina had only a total of 35 pages. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, or at least that's how many. That's how many I've heard.
Let's see. Council Sasuke's Path of Atonement could be a long story of its own. This is just one reason why I think we should have gone part 3 instead of Boruto. Space going like, so are there any animes after Naruto you believe that did NaruSaku right? And with valid concepts, there should be more than enough building and romance in NaruSaku. I think this is a good point for you, Kentucky, to say your 5 most popular anime ships, as I assume many of them are very similar to NaruSaku.
Well, number 5 is, of course, Aang and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
But that's more of a US cartoon.
Well, I know, but okay, I'll just do anime, not overall.
But you can do general.
Okay, number 4, Ed and Winry. I just love their dynamic, and I believe they're even though I don't know Ed's not an idiot, but his dynamic is still his and Winry's dynamic is still similar to NaruSaku in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, I'm watching One Piece. I've been watching it for the past 2 years, and I've been a Luffy and Nami shipper ever since. Because their bond was just as close as NaruSaku in my opinion.
All right.
Number two, it's NaruSaku because my number one ship has always been Sora and Kairi from Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so a mix of Western thing, but to sort of address, let's see, space. If there are any enemies after Naruto you believe that did NaruSaku right? At the moment, I'd say the closest one, as I think Fahad Khan is saying, would probably be Black Clover minus the sort of like a rivalry thing with like because Noel never had a thing for like let's see, but that's probably the closest I can think of. But there's a lot of, I would say, NaruSaku like ships that happened before, which like Ryun Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, where you've got like the girls often annoyed by either the main character's idiot antics or perverted ones. So you've got that. Let's see. Dragon Ball, well, I would probably say that Chi-Chi, in many ways, has many similarities to technically how Sakura gets mad, but
Yeah, I never watched Dragon Ball, but I still don't understand why they compared Chi-Chi and Hinata together.
let's see. Ah, no, it may just be let's see. Let's see. It might have just been when she was younger, but frankly, even let's see. But basically, when Chi Chi is older, she's pretty much got that sort of tsundere temper, if you will. Other ones, of course, is Edward and Winry. That is another one I would say was very similar. And I even argue that the main couple that happened in Nisekoi was very, very NaruSaku-like in many ways. So basically, like that. Um, and also, I guess Natsu and Lucy, granted, they have not yet to become canon. And like you mentioned, Nami and Luffy seem very similar. Obviously, space going. If you did NaruSaku, then I think it'd be an really interesting idea if we would Sasuke, after completing his atonement, ending up with a civilian. That is a possible one that you could do. Let's see, Vad Khan. Sasuke with a civilian wouldn't work. There would be an outcry. It's like an FE awakening pairing of Chrome and civilian, which means significant weakened Lucina. I assume they're referring to like the Betsy not a strong child or something, but yeah. Space Ghost, you know why Uku Ochiko was able to do it right? Because there wasn't any love triangle, any dumb nonsense, and Hiroshiki stuck to the end game instead of being on shore. And he's going like, Fad, all right. Anyway, I think it's time that, let's see, there's another criticism that I have been holding off, which I think was mentioned very early in the stream. And let's see, opinion on people who view Sakura and Naruto's relationship as siblings. Let's see, instead of romantic ones. What do you make of this?
Well, I never bought it that way because I never see a brother. I never see a brother like blush at a sister like Naruto did with Sakura. And
yes. Let's see. As we can probably let me just go back to sharing this bit here. Let's see. Hold on. Which one is it? Let's see. Let me just recall where I found this one. Oh, hold on. I hate when this happens. Nope. Ah, here we go. Let me try. Let's see. Sharing now. As we see from this image I showed very earlier, you can clearly tell you have Naruto blushing like this. So yeah, let's see. The whole sibling thing, yeah, that is, you would not have blushing between Naruto or Sakura throughout the series if it was a sibling thing. In many ways, Kishimoto implied very much romantic moments between Naruto and Sakura, either from one side or the other, depending on which moment you're talking about. So, yeah. And,
and did he also blush when Sakura was about to feed him before Sai ruined the moment?
Yes. Let's see. Sakura was about to try and feed Naruto before. Let's see. Sakura was about to try and feed Naruto before. Let's see. Sai interrupted, which Sai was like being complete. It's still kind of clueless on the situation. Thought like, oh, this is what friends do, but it's like, okay, see, the guy, of course, the guy would want the girl to feed him. So, yeah. Now, of course, I do think Sai is one of the most misunderstood characters in Naruto, given how some people like to try and debunk Sai's complete understanding of emotions when he makes comments on like Naruto and Sakura's relationships. And let's see, we've got Fad Khan says siblings don't confess "I love you" in that manner. Let's see, and let's see. Fad Khan also has like the Togazuka was a very light rival, but yeah, Hishoka did plan his end games early on. As for Fairy Tail, Naru is done in every realm except for the ones we follow. That is also another case for that.
I like this. I like to change topic for a minute about.
Hold on, I'm just reading a few more comments with Space saying Val, the rivalry dies when Toga stated she loves Izuku and Ochiko, and Izutoko was replaced by Ochiko Toga. Ooh, Yuri shipping. Let's see. And Fad Khan's best friends, definitely lovers, would have been better. Siblings, nope. And so one more. I think her love was more specific for Izuka, but her love for Choka was out of rivalry, and that's when it evolved to her wanting to be her greatest friend, since that's a woman image of a kid and a monster. Let's see, and okay, go on. You wanted to change topic quickly, Kentucky?
Yeah, for some reason, I just got reminded of reading one of Oda's earliest.
Say that again, more slowly, more clearly.
I was reading one of Oda's earliest prototypes of One Piece, where he had Luffy being character named Chiam, I believe, and he fell in love with
Nanami. Yes,
yeah.
I believe Lucky Rave has told me about that. Let's see. Anyway,
yeah, I believe. He can change his mind. I grant that, but I believe Oda is set for Luffy Nami ever since.
Okay, so we got that. So anyway, the question from Space here says, do you believe Naruto Sakura fans are more justified than Ichigo Rukia fans? Yes.
So do I.
Yes, basically. Yes. You can argue, let's see, arguably you could say for Ichigo Rukia, there's mostly their interactions in the beginning of the, let's see, Substitute Soul Reaper arc, or like the sort of mini arcs that arc made up, and also the Soul Society arc, but where you could argue that it seems to be leaning in more of like a Rukia and Ichigo direction. But with afterwards, starting with the Uranka arc, it seemed like it could have gone, it seemed in more favor of Orihime, but some could also argue it's like 50-50 either way. But it definitely lost a lot of the sort of early dynamics that it had over the course of the first two arcs of Bleach.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I need to watch more Bleach. I've been watching, but I got sidetracked. But I could see why people can see Ichigo and Rukia view them as best friends rather than boyfriend girlfriend. But even still, I believe that NaruSaku fans were right to be pissed off because we feel like Kishi was building up NaruSaku since day one.
And then, of course, did some very problematic relationships, but yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Fad Khan says, I can't speak for Bleach much, but for NaruSaku, I do feel things would have been less hectic if they ended up together. And Fad Khan says, would it be better for One Piece if no parents end, since it would be problematic, but that depends. Well, personally, it very likely might end up being the case, as Oda has a very strict no romance thing. Though granted, it seems he's gotten lighter over the days. At the moment,
yeah, he made this. There was this anime that called One Piece Love Letter, I believe, and it was
fan letter.
No, that's not it. It was basically let me see that for a minute.
Hold on, slow down and then try and say what you're trying to say.
There was this spin-off that he approved of called One Piece in Love, and the characters were based off of Luffy and Nami, and that made me realize that maybe he approves of Luffy and Nami. That's just me.
Okay. Anyway, going back to what Space says, the only issue with Ichigo and Rukia is the anime changing stuff. Personally, I am not really much of an expert on that. Let's see, unfortunately, Lucky Rave was unable to join us. So, but I will probably get, let's see, when I do Bleach ships, I'll probably do Bleach ships some point and probably get Lucky in. We're going like, oh yeah, we should bring up Kishimoto's wife being upset about the NaruSaku not happening. Yes. Arguably, for many people, let's see, this, for many NaruSaku fans, this is arguably mostly what we believe with like, why, let's see, our ships were not, why NaruSaku was supposed to be a thing that was originally happening, because Kishimoto's wife, in which I am just, let me just reshare this image. Let's see, this this paneling here. Kishimoto has talked in the past about how he is a bit like Naruto, and his wife is quite strong-willed, if you will. And as chat says, Kishimoto and various other sources confirmed that Sakura equals his wife, while he himself stated multiple times he's like Naruto. In the mischievous interview in France. And and you've got like Oda even doing the comparisons, which we have just been talking about. Oda has basically made the comparisons to Sakura, and also the fact that that interview where she reacted to like where Kishimoto admit that she was not happy about Naruto and Sakura not getting together. I did not buy that it was Hinata that she was like Hinata. That is arguably the strongest case we can see that, okay, Nahina seems to be more of a last-minute planning rather than something that was more of endgame. At the very least, for the longest time, Kishimoto seemed to be, at least from his relationship with his wife, it seemed to imply that he was going to make NaruSaku happen, and when it didn't, she was not happy. Granted, I'll say this, yes, they're still together, and it's not really enough to like split up a marriage, I'd say. But it's clear that she is not happy that NaruSaku did not happen, and arguably does not buy his reasons of like Hinata and Naruto getting together.
Right, I remember reading that, and she was with us. Do we know what his wife looks like, by the way?
No, to be honest, let's see. No, we only got one image of what Kishimoto looks like, and to be honest, most mangakas that are married, you don't normally see images of their wives. The only ones that I can think of that you would do is Hunters, but that's because the mangaka for Sailor Moon is his wife, and Oda, I believe, married a Nami cosplayer, which I think there's an image of that online. Yeah. Outside of that, you don't really see the wives of mangaka in images, which, to be fair, that's more of their personal life.
And I understand that.
That's it. Let's see. We've heard Kongo like, here's what I've heard. Some say the manga made it clear it was Ichihime as endgame, but anime says otherwise. Some others think the opposite. Let's see. And Fad Khan saying Kishimoto's wife being upset makes sense if you take into consideration the personality change Hinata has throughout in Boruto, which arguably is another thing that people notice, is that Hinata seems very much like a scary mom, which quite a lot
doesn't fit her character.
Yeah, it does not seem to fit her character. So it seems like they basically stole traits of Sakura and Kushina to give to Hinata, which is another thing I have seen criticism with the anime when it comes, where they have like Hinata stealing Sakura's bullied childhood backstory, as well as the medical palm technique, because, let's see, only Sakura and Ino are shown to do it, but then suddenly Hinata can do it, and it seems like Hinata can do whatever Sakura can do, so that's one criticism I said.
Right.
Let's see, with space going there. Also, if you believe the idea that Sasuke was based on Kishimoto's brother, then yeah, kind of explains why Kishimoto's wife dislikes what ended up happening. But yes, let's see, because Kishimoto has described Sasuke being very much like his brother in some regards, and
I don't. Yeah. That's the first time I've heard that, but that makes sense in general.
But yeah, arguably, you probably, if we had, say, like Steve, let's see, Lucky Rave or something, they would probably have these let's see, they could bring up some of these arguments. And Fred Khan goes like, I think there was a video, it's possibly by Retrospect Greg. It's mentioned at this point that Sasuke being like his actual brother, which is pretty abysmal if you think about it. So yeah. Space says, I still respect Greg, but I do disagree about his points about Sasuke. Greg pretty much dislikes Sasuke.
So do I. I hate Sasuke with every bone in my body.
Fair enough. The only person I think that hates Sasuke more than either of you two is James S. Cassidy. But yeah.
Yeah, Phineas DS hates him too.
Oh, yes. But yes. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Fad Khan says, I'm on two with the line of thinking with Sasuke, but if Sasuke would have been given a few long redemption arcs, you'd have less haters for him. That is probably arguably one aspect that you have of like let's see
The problem is
let's see with Sasuke for some people Sasuke, but go on.
the problem is he's way too unlikable to be redeemed, in my opinion. He's not like Zuko or anything.
Okay, fair enough. You don't think he's like Zuko. All right, let's see. Let's see. Personally, I think the story needs to kind of have Sasuke be redeemed or saved because Naruto had to succeed where Kakashi and Jiraiya failed with like Obito and I guess you could say Orochimaru. Well, more of like Jiraiya with Orochimaru, really, but and also Madara with Hashiyama. I mean Hashiyama with Madara.
Fair enough, but I just didn't see Sasuke's.
You just don't think you don't like the execution.
Yes.
Anyway, we've got another comment here. Let's see. Don't forget NHC Hammer too. Yes, I have heard that he dislikes Sasuke. Let's see. Got with Fadcon saying that's a definitive. His podcasts were pretty vocal about it. For me, Sasuke's understandable until he goes ballistic near the war arc, then just went downhill. It wasn't a big fan since day one, by the way. Let's see. With Space going, what do you mean? Isn't the point of atonement that it doesn't matter what you did, that you still atone no matter what? Endeavor is an example.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you gotta have good execution, and I just believe that Sasuke's redemption or atonement is executed poorly. Zuko is the best example of atonement. Same goes for Riku from Kingdom Hearts.
But Khan says, I just find him irritating at times. Let's see. Anyway, another criticism I'm going to address is that this is arguably the biggest one of all is, let's see, the infamous, of course, let's see, it's arguably the most infamous scene and ones that people arguably say killed off NaruSaku, if you will. Let's see, of course, the infamous love confession.
You mean that? Yeah. Well, I always feel it that she didn't lie about loving Naruto. She cared for him. She lied about moving on from Sasuke, which because she didn't want Sasuke to kill Naruto.
Let's see. All right, fair enough. Let's see. So basically, since Sakura ended up saying, of course, let's see, she loved Naruto, going on about, let's see, the reasons why, and then saying she moved on for Sasuke. Naruto, let's see, didn't seem to believe this and said the infamous line of, I hate people who lie to themselves. And then you've got, like, Sakura storming out, and then Sai coming back to explain what he did and what Sakura's doing in response to that. Let's see, and hold on, I've got a few. Let's see. Fadcon says Endeavor's redemption was done well. And if you notice, people still hate him in the manga after revelation of Darby's reality. As for Sasuke, it exactly didn't click because everyone just forgave him and moved on. But see, Space says so many people have different ideas on Sakura in the love confession scene here. So, yeah, basically, many people have different interpretations of this scene. Arguably, let's see, most of those who ship Hina or NaruSaku, let's see, took the advantage of saying Sakura is just being manipulative, let's see, woman here and trying to, let's see, force Naruto to get in a relationship with her. But I think here we need to see the, let's see, if Fadcon says, one way I can see she is serious, that she's embarrassingly looking down. Yes, which, let's see, the contents of the scene, let's see, this arc is basically, at the beginning of the arc, we learned that Sakura and Naruto learned that Sasuke had joined the Akatsuki, basically become a terrorist, if you will, has managed to anger some of the other villagers, and as a result is getting in direct conflict. Naruto, of course, tries to still rescue Sasuke because, let's see, it's his friend, but Sakura is learning all the sort of stuff that Naruto is going through, and wants to try and get Naruto to stop because if he keeps going after Sasuke, he's going to inevitably get caught up with the Akatsuki, who are constantly hunting her down. Now, as Fadcon says, one way I can say that she's serious, she's embarrassingly looking down. it says like if she was really good at manipulating, Naruto would fall for it. So but yeah, that's one argument. Let's see against it. Let's see. Arguably, with the way as you can see her blushing here and talking, let's see. I definitely would argue that she is, let's see, being for the most part truthful in what she is saying, because all the reasons she said about, let's see, Sasuke, let's see, not loving, let's see, hold on, whoops, wrong, let's see, present, share screen, hold on, no, yeah, this is the one. Let's see. But yeah, as we see a little bit of the, let's see, comments here, it's like Naruto has always sort of been there to protect the village and all that stuff, and she's just become one of the admirers that he has made over the years. So, yes. Let's see. You see, she has firsthand seen Naruto grow into like let's see, mischievous prankster to be like the hero that he is now. So she is like let's see. So basically, she's basically said all the reasons that why she has every reason to fall in love with Naruto, but it's just that with Sasuke, she has just not yet come to terms that she has yet to properly move on, and let's see, saying that she does not care, which Naruto, let's see, resorts back and says, "You're lying at this moment." And of course, this leads to a bit of an argument between the two, but you can tell that, let's see, there's more truth to like her feelings, because, well, she is basically arguing very strongly back. She's not, let's see, if she was faking it, she would not react to the way Naruto said, "I hate people that lie to themselves." Granted, she has yet to probably figure out how she actually feels between both Naruto and Sasuke yet, but this is basically, I'd say, the argument moment between the two couple that needs to be that happened, that needed to be addressed down the line, which unfortunately never did. And we've got a few like comments here. As let's see, Fadcan said, if she was really good at manipulating, Naruto would have fallen for it. But yeah. And Space says, I feel like in this love confession scene that if Sakura did end up with killing Sasuke and end up with Naruto, then she wouldn't be truly happy for the rest of her life with Naruto. Arguably, there was many problems with let's see. At the moment, let's see, the conflict between Team 7 at this moment is one that was not have been healthfully resolved if it was resolved at that time. Clearly, there seems to be more things that needs to be sorted out first and addressed before it gets together. And we've got a few comments with someone like saying Mark Petakavrov, who just joined, saying, at least with Endeavor, he knows, admits he screws up. Where did Sasuke ever admit he screws up? And which you've got Farad Khan saying, agreeing with Mark. Let's see on that regard. But he goes like, she would. It would take an immense amount of time. The issue is, if she did kill him, Naruto would walk away from her and stop his chase. This was the burden she was willing to take. So yes, Sakura was willing to kill Sasuke for Naruto's sake, even if Naruto ended up disliking her. But arguably, this is probably why, at the moment, let's see, Sakura, let's see, killing Sasuke, even though it would have been for the better of the ninja world and for the village at the time, let's see, would have caused some very internal problems with Team 7. But arguably, this is like, of course, why you have Naruto trying to still resolve to save Sasuke. The biggest problem is you just never got Sakura and Naruto to address what happened with the confession afterwards. The closest you get is that Minato ends up asking Sakura, are you Naruto's girlfriend, with Naruto saying more or less it, which basically seems to imply that regardless of what happened in the Kage Summer, Naruto still pretty much wants to have Sakura as his girlfriend. Do you have any more comments to say on that, or is that basically it?
That's basically it. And,
okay.
And actually, I was thinking back when Sakura was telling some. I wonder if she was having. I wonder if she was having arguments with her inner self. That does she really truly love Naruto? I want while she was planning that.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah. Then we can move on.
Fair enough. We can move on from this Etsy argument. So basically, that is one of the other arguments against. Another one, I would probably say that basically, for me personally, Sakura Sakura and Naruto's relationship basically represents a lot of growth, particularly on Sakura's character. Let's see. Oh, you seem to have shared a YouTube clip. Hold on. Let me just take a look what you've. Yes, I have seen that MC fan Doshiru, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, basically, for me, one of the reasons to ship NaruSaku is arguably Naruto has more of a positive influence on Sakura than Sasuke being rather a more negative influence, as Sakura does not seem to have the confidence that she has when around Sasuke. And one example I can see with this is whenever Sakura has stood up to Sasuke, it's mostly been for like Naruto's sake. And we've got a comment from Farad Khan saying the whole thing with Sakura is in the arc that she was willing to put Naruto's life above her bond with her. That shows that she wanted him, even if it meant being forever hated by him. So yeah, that's arguably another argument in the more pro side of the confession. But yeah, so arguably with Naruto and Sakura, both are willing to do sacrifices for the other that I don't really see Naruhina and Sakura actually doing. With Space saying, so should we bring up what Tsunade says about the idea of Naruto and Sakura ending up together? Okay, apparently, Kentucky, do you know about this?
No.
Basically, in the Sakura Hidon novel, which is after the ending in the last, is basically Tsunade thinking that Naruto and Sakura too much alike or something along the lines of that they probably bicker and argue and not really be much of a good couple, and that Hinata's probably more level-headed for a relationship with Naruto.
Wow. I think that was added because it was taking a shot at it. Maybe that was added to take a shot at NaruSaku. Maybe at us fans, telling us the reason why NaruSaku wouldn't work.
Ritzy Fad Khan says, from Sakura light novel, that is not canon. Let's see, with Fad Khan says, at least most fans think the novels are not canon. Yeah, basically, most people haven't really read those novels except for maybe diehard fans, particularly diehard Sakura fans, as they've been claiming to want these novels to become canon for a very long time, or at least be adapted to the animes. Which, arguably, you got that Sasuke story from like the Boruto era that did. But yeah, basically, I think any novels like that are basically more of damage control to try and justify Saku and Naruhina and all that stuff, which, frankly, to be honest, from my understanding of that novel, you also have Sakura being very jealous of Naruto and Hinata's relationship and thinking, why can't I have that sort of one with Sasuke? So, frankly, I don't think that novel does a good job of painting the relationship in a good Sakura's relationship with Sasuke in a good light. So that is basically one of the arguments that I have there. But yeah. Anyway, so basically, even though we've got some of these criticisms and all that discussions out with NaruSaku, one thing that some people will go like, Naruhina and Saku has been canon for like over 10 years now. There's a spin-off of Boruto. Why are you guys still around shipping NaruSaku? And I want to sort of address your reasons why.
Me? Because I still believe in the dynamic. I know Kishi didn't make it canon, but so what? That doesn't stop me from loving NaruSaku. Heck, there's still. I don't ship Sutara, but I understand where they're coming from. There are still Sutara shippers. They still ship it. You can ship whatever the fuck you want, just as long as you don't hurt anybody about it.
Yes, arguably, if you go in any fandom with shipping, basically, as long as the characters are revealed to not be secret siblings, you'll still end up getting shippers for them at the very least. So yeah. Which is why I don't see any Luke and Leia shippers about. after, like, let's see, the original trilogy.
I wonder if people did ship that before Empire Strikes Back.
There were some that did, but then of course afterwards, nope. After Return of the Jedi. But
I just love that Han's reaction when he found out he's my brother. It's like, what?
Yeah. So Birdgun says that if we see the main manga, there's not just similar, but somewhat opposite as well. Let's see. NaruSaku was very good pairing. I have zero interest and I love Naruto at this point, but the ship, it's pretty good. Yeah. Arguably, yes. Even if, let's see, regardless of whether or not things become canon or not, you will still get shippers. You got like Satara for like Avatar, and you still have them arguing to this day that Satara was probably was planned at some point, or should have been like the canon ship. Let's see, you got in Harry Potter, you got like between Harry and Hermione and Harry and Ron. You've still got Harry and Hermione shippers still shipping that, and I think some comments from J.K. Rowling talking about how Ron and Hermione was more of a wishful fulfillment has like sort of emboldened them. Granted, if you're not having people that see around Harry Potter, it's more because of J.K. Rowling rather than what's going on in the series right now. But yeah, but we're not going to get into like J.K. Rowling. But yeah,
yeah. Do you think Kishi will ever say, "I should have made NaruSaku canon"?
At the moment, very unlikely. If Boruto is still ongoing, afterwards, who knows? Let's see. Fired Khan says we'll be back in a minute. But yeah. So yeah, basically you've got like fans will always still continue to ship, and even even if we don't get canon, you'll find that fans always have what we call Fanon, as we can see from here. Whoops, wrong. Let's see.
Yeah, I make my own fan descriptions, as they call it.
As we can see in here, NaruSaku fans, of course, make their own ships and their own fanon works. As we can see here, the most famous example when you ever go into NaruSaku is the NaruSaku family of Naruto, Sakura with Shinachiku Uzumaki, Hanami Uzumaki, and Arashi Uzumaki.
Yeah, by the way, it's not just NaruSaku Day the other day. It was also Hanami's birthday.
Yes, for those who are wondering, Hanami Uzumaki is basically the most popular version that people create of Naruto's daughter with Sakura, which she looks very much like Sakura in some regards, but has very many of Naruto's personality. Let's see, April 3rd, which was, let's see, at some point in Jump you had in the magazine where it says this is the day that Naruto fell in love with Sakura. Many fans use that as the day to celebrate NaruSaku, as well as decide that in order for tribute that they would do sort of have Naruto and Sakura's daughter be born on that day as sort of like the ultimate, let's see, symbol of like NaruSaku's love of like child being born that day. Let's see, Shinachiku, I think, originally had that date, but they switched it to, I think, November when the ending happened, and they wanted that to be Shinachiku to be the rebirth of NaruSaku. Arashi was basically added as a tribute to Kushina. But yeah, those are basically what most people view with like the sort of NaruSaku family. But let me just find the other image of
I remember Lady GT's fan character name Kasumi, I believe.
Yes, the daughter that, let's see, was arguably one of the first popular childs before Lady GET eventually sort of passed on. Let's see, moved on to other things. So
I thought you said she passed away.
No, not passed away. Moved on to other projects. I think she's actually drawing professional mangas. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, basically, yeah, this is what generally you think of the NaruSaku family. Also, one comment. I'd say, let's see, Sakura's parents seem like a sort of artistic, let's see, visual-wise, to be like a sort of reverse NaruSaku with like the pink-haired dad being a goofball and the blonde mom being serious. But yeah, let's see. credits to Pume for this artwork, but yeah. But let's see. Fahad Khan. We're just basically talking about how NaruSaku Fans, despite the last 11 years, there's still reasons to continue shipping it. Let's see, because other shippers still ship their characters even if they don't get together, and also we have a lot of Fanon the Uzumaki family that you can see in this image here. But yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, we have our own Fanon works. We have our own Fanon. Sorry, what?
I would say this. Sometimes Fanon is better than canon.
Fair enough, but yeah. So we have a lot of our own Fanon projects, usually with these NaruSaku kids, but of course, there are also those that have their own types of fanfic characters, so yeah. Let's see, Space Ghost, so how would you rewrite NaruSaku to be endgame?
I've been debating on that, how I would do it. I would either do it at the end of the war arc, or after the war, or
Okay, slow down and try and say what you want to say.
Sometimes I would have it after the war when Naruto would say, "You sure have a charming forehead. It makes me want to kiss it." And that was when Sakura realized it was him.
Arguably, yeah. Arguably, yes. Arguably, the bench scene feels like a Chekhov's gun that has never been addressed. Basically that, but also Sakura addressing what she said in the confession and says that, yeah, she does actually love Naruto. Basically stuff like that. Another aspect I would probably say is basically the inspiration from the Tales of the Gutsy Jiraiya novel. Hold on. Let me just find where it is. Oops. Yeah. As we know, there's an actual Tales of the Gutsy Ninja. There's actually a book, though. It did, novel where it did actually sort of come. There's actually a story where this novel is actually written. And you've got a very similar, the characters are very similar to Team 7 with NaruSaku and all that stuff. And where, it seems like Naruto and the Sasuke character in that story are about to duke it out like Naruto and Sasuke, with the Sakura character talking with the sort of Kakashi mentor, where the Kakashi mentor type character is turning the Sakura character to focus on what makes you happiest, and which her realizing it's Naruto, so it's she has a sort of revelation and goes to probably try and help Naruto in that novel. Granted, we never see the ending of that novel, but to me it seems to imply that when Naruto and Sasuke are having their sort of final fight, if you will, Sakura's talking to Kakashi about the situation. Kakashi sort of acts of mentor and asks what does she feel? How does she feel happiest the most? What she wants to do, and have her help Naruto. You could argue now whether or not you want Sakura to have a big moments in Naruto Sasuke's fight, or a minor moments that help in a significant way. Well, regardless of that happening, she plays a role in helping Naruto. Defeat Sasuke and bring him back, and then they have their sort of confession. That is generally how I would like to do it, basically.
And how would I have Hinata be involved? I think she would look and say, "Naruto, Sakura makes you happy, then I will let you go." And some people ship her with some NaruSaku shippers ship her with Kiba.
Yes, that is definitely an alternative ship that you have some there. Some might be with Neji, but we're not going to get into that. But some would have at least either Hinata realizing that, but or just focus on the clan stuff, or or Naruto politely tying her down. Usually one or the other.
Yeah, you could have her do both: be with Kiba and be a clan leader.
Let's see. Anyway, Father Khan says nothing to rewrite. Just have Naruto and Sakura talk about the bench moment and have them discuss Sakura's confession. Basically, what I've say. Let's see. And the thing it says hold on, and I'm just going to go to this topic. Says, like we talk about in the Luffy's ship stream, I believe in more recent shonen are doing better with romance and learning from the mistakes of the past. Arguably, I would definitely say after the backlash of Naruto's ships and how, Naruto and Sakura didn't become canon, how Sasuke and Sakura became canon, Naruto and Hina became canon. That definitely has, I think, led to many mangaka being a bit more careful with how they write their ships. At the very least, they've not done any love triangles, and they make it kind of very clear as day one which either the main male character likes the female character or not, or if the main female character likes the main character or not. So to avoid mostly avoiding the shipping controversy, as so far I'd say the only manga that has had similar controversies to like Naruto in regards to ships are Bleach and Attack on Titan. But outside of that, I definitely say most mangakas are being very careful with what they had to say. Now, one question I've got here from Fadkan says mostly from the mistakes of Naruto, but yes, and goes like, if there's any modern mangas that don't entirely confirm ships, there are exceptions. JJK didn't get any ships between the main three. As for Izuku Ocho, I don't think any other ship was confirmed. Let's see, with Space says Fad, you can argue Yuji ended up with Yuko in the extra chapter of the volume. Yeah, that is arguably the only time when you could say that a relationship might have been implied, but I'm going to go to like Space's comment here saying, do you think NaruSaku fans can be annoying? And are there examples of them seeing, and are there examples of you seeing them being annoying? For the most part, no. Granted, there are arguably some NaruSaku fans that can cause a scene or not, but frankly, I'd say for most part, they're in the minority. I definitely say, most NaruSaku fans keep to themselves, to be honest. They don't really want to, they don't really try to interact with the fandom the other parts of the fandom too much. Well, especially the Naruhino and Sasusaku. I mean, you probably see me occasionally saying a bad comment about Sasusaku to Sasusaku fans. I will not. So, but other than that, normally, I think you find most NaruSaku fans keep to their own stuff.
Yeah, well, Naruhino fans can be really, really annoying. I mean, sometimes I go to look at NaruSaku fan art on DeviantArt, and there was this one Naruhina fan named Kojij. And I believe another one was Super Saiyan Man 12, and he gets on his rant on why NaruSaku sucks and why Naruhina is great, and like.
So basically, you see comments from certain Naruhina fans commenting on NaruSaku art saying your ship sucks. It's not canon. Naruhina forever, basically.
Right, and I don't go on ships that I hate, on fan art of ships I hate. I just ignore them.
Let's see. Yes, as Farad Khan says, any fan can be annoying, which is true. So you've got all kinds of toxic fans. But yeah. Farad Khan gives best example, quintessential quintuplets. Okay. Let's see. I'm not really familiar with that series, so yeah. Let's see. But okay, you haven't read most of that one. With Farad says, remember that? Okay. Yep. With Farad says, some Naruhina fans aren't entirely annoying. Sassy Sojo is an example. Okay, fair enough. I don't know who that is, but yeah. But basically, some fans can be annoying, some not. Basically, let's see, you're probably going to get arguments, but I think as long as most keep to their own bubbles, I guess most of their own groups, and just not annoy the others, it'll be fine. But yeah. Anything else?
There's a few bad apples in every fandom.
Yes.
The most infamous is Star Wars.
Oh yes, but yeah, but basically, oops. Let's see. I feel like we shouldn't slander Hinata if we are NaruSaku fans. Yeah, no. Let's see. For Hinata, for NaruSaku fans, I'd say some, of course, do dislike the character of like how she affected the story and the relationships. Others are like
Think she's just bland.
Let's see, just think she don't really either dislike her or just think she's bland, and just don't like the fact that she just had this sort of impact on the story as she did, and just rather that Kishimoto had just focused on something more arguably better for her character, like the Hyuga clan affairs.
Yeah, it was a problem that Kishi had. He didn't develop most of the side characters as much.
Yeah, that's arguably a criticism for another day, but yeah. Oops, Fad Khan says, I don't entirely hate Hinata, I just feel like she's overhauled with regards to with other female characters and her role in the story. Generally, yeah, arguably I'd say when most people end up disliking Hinata, it's because either you've got like a certain of her fans going overhyping her and pushing her down our throats, but yeah. Anyway, so basically I've talked a lot about, let's see, all the different types of basically gone through just about nearly everything I could think of with like NaruSaku. We talked about our own personal reasons for like shipping the character with their development and interactions. We talked about many of the criticisms and arguments against it. But yeah, arguably it's a ship that yes, it's not canon, but I think for many, let's see, for why I'd still ship it is because I think of all the sort of okay, Fad Khan says it's mostly a fandom being insanely vocal. That is true. But I think that's the reason why I would still ship NaruSaku is arguably it mostly has many of the archetypes and dynamics I enjoy in watching with relationships, with like the goofy main character winning the affections of the strong-tempered female character who might dislike the main character at first, but gets won over by the way.
And smart too. When Sakura doesn't fawn over Sasuke, she's one of the smartest characters ever. Well, I don't know about ever, but you get what I mean.
Sakura being one of the smartest characters, but yeah.
Yeah.
Arguably, yes, but yeah. In many ways, let's see, outside of anime and manga, my favorite possibly ship would probably be the Persebeth ship, which is in many ways very similar to NaruSaku, with like the very strong, goofy goofball with Percy Jackson, with the strong-wielded anime Chase, who at first disliked Seaweed Brain before falling for him. But
would you say Sokai is similar to NaruSaku in a way? Sora and Kairi?
Sora and Kairi, some aspects yes, some aspects no.
Yeah, because I saw one example of it being NaruSaku. It's at the beginning of KH1 where it says, where Sora says, "No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't." And Kairi just bonked him on the head like Sakura would to Naruto.
Yeah, arguably, yeah. But basically, if I had to compare NaruSaku with any ships, it would be Persebeth, and arguably they even did a love triangle that works. But yes, let's see. You got Fad Khan says, I'd say Cloud T and Cloud E. I assume that's Final Fantasy VII. And yes, Kentucky, yes. Let's see. And let's see. Space says, I feel like any ship can work if you're a good enough fanfic writer. Arguably, yes. And there's arguably some cases where you could have, let's see, Hina and Saku working. But frankly, I think with the way that Kishimoto wrote those ships, especially, let's see, Saku with like part 2, as like, put me off of ever supporting those two as a canon ship, at the very least. So, yeah. And why I would arguably more favor NaruSaku as both healthy for both characters and arguably for the story. And then let's see, but to close off, let's see, I'm just basically just about covered everything I have, could say here. So, let's see, one thing I'd say, thank you, NaruSaku Kentucky, for joining me, and thank you, Fad Khan and Space, for your comments. And I believe it was Mark Petrikar. Let's see, for your contributions, as it helped me organize the arguments a bit. Let's see, it's like one question you want to ask is, by the way, are we going to talk about Ichigo ships next? Maybe. I mostly did one piece on Valentine's Day for like a Valentine's Day special. Naruto and Sakura I did on April 3rd because, well, that was for us NaruSaku Day. For Bleach, that might be a discussion I do down the line, but I'll probably wait for like someone with like Lucky Rave to do it, as he has read Bleach as much as me. So yeah. Let's see, Space going like one thing Daigo did right was making NaruSaku not romance. Personally, I disagree with that sort of rewrite fanfic. In fact, frankly, to be honest, he seems to be the way he's trying to write Sakura and Naruto and Hinata. Frankly, in some ways, I feel like I'm not really buying it. But frankly, I feel like he's written Naruto and Kurotsuki as a more better canon couple than what he's doing with Narahina, to be honest. Let's see, I've had Khan saying, I think Daigo is a Narahina shipper. At the very least, he seems to think it was planned from the beginning. With let's see, Space going like fanfics are like that. Space going agreed. Let's see, and would you do one for My Hero and Black Clover? Let's see, I'm gonna wait until like the final chapter of My Hero Academia officially comes out, let's see, with its volume, and then I'm going to do a review on that, and then afterwards I'm going to talk about My Hero Academia ships and all that, maybe even the stream itself, with Farid Khan saying I'm in for those. So yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Thanks again, and thanks everyone in the comments, but I am Blue Star Saber.
I'm NaruSaku Fan in Kentucky.
And I am ready to sign off. Thank you everyone for joining, and I will say goodbye with like this one comment with Farid Khan saying, isn't it out yet? It's unofficially out, but the volume isn't out with the actual chapter. And Space saying this was fun, and indeed it was, and I think your comments did help with some of the debates. And with Space saying goodbye. So goodbye everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye. Goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Uh-huh.
I was imitating Robin Williams' Genie.
Okay, this was good, thanks. And was that last comment? Goodbye.